Hey guys, Gemma from ASD Rocks. On my way to the doctors. I did actually make a video on the way to the doctors yesterday, but having been 24 hours too early for it, I was too embarrassed to put it up. So I'm making a new video. This video is about what I call slow exposure. So I need you guys, someone wrote to me and said, you know, please, I really need some help. Any suggestions you have would be amazing. I have a 3-year-old who is level 3 autism, non-verbal, massive sensory issues, won't wear pants, won't, you know, all of a sudden has aversion to everything from like walking on grass, sand, this and that. You know, we're trying this, we're trying that, we're putting on, you know, we've tried him at the park, we tried him at we're trying to take him down to the beach, we're trying to expand his verbal, he's obviously not toileted, blah blah, and the list went on and on and on. And the reason that I'm bringing this up was when she said, you know, please, and the poor woman, I mean, it broke my heart. It took me right back to exactly where Bo was at 3 years old. You know, non-verbal, you didn't know what was going on or why it was happening. Things were changing, like one day it was okay and then the next day, boom, like their food just completely changed. So she said, you know, have you got any suggestions? And I said, yes. Stop trying to fix everything at once, right? You can't. He's 3. Slow down. You have an entire lifetime of therapies to get through. If he doesn't like, you know, the feeling of sand or grass or doesn't want to go outside, you know what? At the moment, that's okay. Work on the things that are most important. Work on communication, work on toileting, right? Those are probably, in my opinion, if the kid doesn't want to wear pants because he has a sensory issue, doesn't want to wear socks, doesn't want to do any of these things, fine, stop it. You know, pick the battle that is the most important. Now, eventually, yes, eventually the kid's going to need to wear pants, but right now, honestly, he just doesn't. So stop forcing him outside if he's not comfortable outside of the house. Always work with your child in a safe and comfortable environment. You will never make any progress with anyone if they are feeling overwhelmed by all the stimulus that's going on outside. So your home is one of the best places to, you know, to work on the things you need to work on. Then I came up with an analogy that I was actually quite proud of. I've never used this one before. I said, you know, in regards to the socks or the pants, I said, you have to rationalize this fear, not to him, but to you. You need to understand what it means to him. I said, let's just say, for example, what would it take to get you comfortable having a tarantula or a huntsman crawl up your arm? Well, first of all, you would need to just be comfortable with having it in the house. Forget putting it on. You don't just walk in and put these things on and go, oh, you're feeling comfortable? No, of course not. This is the slow exposure, okay? Then you might have this spider in the jar and you might bring it slowly closer to you until, you know, that feeling sort of goes, and you know it's in the jar, it's safe, you know, you'll always have this sort of sight, but you will become accustomed to it, having it around, touching, you know. The next step is to just hold the jar. How long do you have to hold that jar for before you're confident to take the lid off it? This is the way I want you guys to approach whatever issue your child has, okay? Because just standing there and saying, you have to wear pants, you have to wear shoes, you have to, and this is not what the mother was doing, that's not what I'm saying. But, you know, just standing there and saying, well, you just have to, isn't going to work. That's not the way, especially not the way that any ASD kid is going to progress. Now, if, for example, it's certain sounds, then the way we would go about it is we would get those certain sounds very similar to the way they train dogs, okay? If they're scared of thunder, you know, you have it play, you with the dog, you get a tape recording of the thunder, and you sit with it and pat it, and you know, it's on very quietly, and slowly you turn up the sounds, and they become, you know, used to those sounds. So we have all of these different ways, whether it be about a sensory from a textural point of view, whether it be sensory visual, sensory, you know, auditory. First of all, pick one thing. Your child is now your lifelong project, yeah? This is not about, okay, how much can we get done by next week? Doesn't work like that. It's not going to work like that, and you're only going to set yourself up for disappointment, okay? Pick the things. You can have a list of things that, you know, you want to eventually come about. You know, with Beau, toileting and communication was absolute number one. Toileting, communication. Now, communication, that has taken, well, I guess 17 years, because last night we were sitting down discussing, he made a very sarcastic comment. And I said, dude, that's sarcasm, that's great. Because he said to Finn, you know, oh, you've got homework. Because Finn finished his homework, and he said, oh, you finished your homework, well, that must be nice. And I said, you know, that was sarcasm. And he said, but no, it's not, because sarcasm is when you're trying to, he calls it gaslighting. He thinks sarcasm is gaslighting someone. And I said, no, you know, it's a really difficult concept to explain, because sometimes you think sarcasm can be, well, oh yeah, I really loved it, but you didn't, so you're saying the opposite. Or sometimes you're saying it, your voice is simply portraying a different feeling to the way, you know, the words you're using. It's not black and white, so it's very difficult, specifically for Beau. Sarcasm is just not there yet. We're not there yet. Does that mean that I think he won't get there? Absolutely not. It just means in the 17 years that we've been working on his language, that's the point we're up to and at. Now, keep in mind, we started at mama, you know, so everything needs to be very slow, very linked, and while, yes, you can work on two things at a time. For example, you can work on toileting while you're working on communication, because communication is an everyday thing. How you express and speak to your children it's all speech therapy. If your kid's getting speech therapy and you're not going into those therapy sessions to find out exactly what is being done, you're doing yourself a disservice, because those people are a wealth of knowledge. I was in every single speech therapy session that Bo had, and I learned exactly what I had to do and how I had to do it. Not what he had to do and how he had to do it, but what I had to do and how I had to change me. In regards to autism, the number one rule is don't try and change them, really, because that's not going to get you anywhere. They are who they are, and they will progress how they progress. But you can change yourself and the way that you communicate with them, and you can find which way they seem to feel more comfortable or understand more, how far you can go. So it's yourself, it's you that needs to regulate how you're teaching your child life skills, language. Don't get hooked up on this massive big picture and think, oh my God, I'm going to have a 17-year-old that won't ever wear pants, can't wear socks, won't go outside, won't be toileted, we'll never be able to take him anywhere. Now, disclaimer, I did that because we're parents and we care, and it's really scary. Like, it's super scary. You've got this 3-year-old that just isn't capable yet. Okay? So whatever it is you're trying to do, even if it's a food, a smell, whatever it happens to be, imagine how long it would take you to feel comfortable having a spider or snake, because if you're going to sit there and just, write in the comments, oh, I don't mind spiders, I love them, right, seriously, I don't have the time to crawl up your arm. What would it take for you to be comfortable doing that? And as soon as you put yourself in that kid's position, you are going to find that not only will you bond and understand your child better, but your child will progress much, much faster, because you are not teaching as you would be taught. You're teaching how they need to be taught. Okay? That is what we call slow progression. That is what I'm talking about today. And it's the same with Bo with driving. It's the same. I started with him just unlocking the car doors. Then I started with him just sitting in the driver's seat. Then him just turning on the engine. Now, it's been, oh my God, like 2 years. And that's as far as we've gotten. And that's okay. We're not running out of time here. We're not running out of time here at all. He will do it when he's good and ready. But at the moment, we've got other things going on. He has some massive issues going on at school because he's in bloody senior school and it's new and it's the beginning of the year. And do you think I'm going to push driving on him knowing that he's really, really nervous about it when he's got other things that to him are more important? So that's my suggestion. I'm sticking with this new analogy. I really like it. It's going to be, I'm going to call it the spider analogy, spider in a jar. So guys, when it comes to anything, ask yourself, if it was something I have an absolute terror of, how long would it take me to get it comfortable doing that? And not just how long, but what would the process be? First, the introduction would have to be pretty far away, and then it would need to be far away for a long time until you got confident getting closer. So that's it. Comment, let me know what you want to do, what you are trying to do. obviously message me privately, which is how I get the majority of my messages and help people out with these sorts of things. On the odd occasion, I will bring up one or two that messages that I've had. They will